First of all, let me echo the Chairman's thanks to the National Guard for truly heroic actions in response to the terrorist attack in Boston. It does not surprise me, however, I don't think it surprises any of us, because our experience in our home states is that the National Guard is always ready to answer the call for help, whether it's a natural disaster or a terrorist attack or deploying overseas. And in Maine, we have an Air National Guard base that performs refuelings, and that base, in a cost-effective manner, does more refuelings than any air base, active duty or guard, along the entire East Coast. So we're very proud of the contributions that the National Guard are making in Maine to our mission. I also want to take just a moment to acknowledge Vice President, I gave you a little promotion there, Vice Admiral Braun, who is the first woman to be the chief of the Naval Reserve. This is her first time testifying before the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. And most important of all, she is from Brunswick, Maine. So it does not surprise me that she has excelled in this manner. General Gratz, while all active duty military personnel are exempt from the sequestration furloughs, this is not necessarily the case for many DoD civilians, including the more than 53,000 dual status technicians, which account for more than half of the Guard's full-time force. Yet these technicians are really the effective equivalent of the uniformed personnel in the active duty component. In my home state, we have 539 military technicians consisting of 279 serving in the Army National Guard and 260 serving in the Air National Guard, who are potentially subject to furlough. My understanding is that your position on furloughs is that the National Guard Bureau can achieve the sequestration budget targets in a way that would avoid the need to furlough the dual status technicians. And I know from my meeting with the Navy that the Navy also has come up with a way generally for the active duty components and also the civilian components to avoid furloughs. Is that an accurate description of your position?
Senator, as you know, I serve on the Joint Chiefs, and as a member of the Joint Chiefs, we made a decision to stick together to be fair across all of our civilian employees, and that if there was a requirement for a furlough, that we would all abide by that. I was advised by my legal counsel also that that was the right way to go with the legal framework. Our big concern is that technicians in the National Guard are different because they're required to wear a uniform to work, and they're required to be a member of a unit. And so what they do every day for us, whether it's maintaining aircraft, it's maintaining tanks, after a drill weekend, they do an awful lot of work of getting all of our equipment back ready to go in case we have a disaster, that would have a major impact. And if I look at today, even if we go with a 14-day furlough, that would be just till now, till the end of the fiscal year, we would lose about 5.5 million man-hours of work this fiscal year. But I do think it's important that we, as a nation, decide if we're going to furlough, that we be fair across the board.
But the National Guard Coalition did send Secretary Hagel a letter about the military technicians on March 20th. Is that not correct? Making the same points that you've made, that they're actually the functional equivalent of active duty personnel, and what the very negative consequences would be?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is a huge issue. Surely, if there are units within our military that are the functional equivalent of active duty personnel, they should be treated that way. But more important, if certain of the services have figured out ways to set priorities using the flexibility that we gave them in the CR, which I supported, and can avoid furloughs that are going to end up increasing costs as well as causing such personal hardship, I would hope that we would encourage the services to do that and that we wouldn't apply a one-size-fits-all approach. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Collins. I think that's worth looking into in all the branches to see if there are ways that we can accommodate those who are serving our country in a civilian capacity as well. Senator Murkowski.